Hi guys, so recently the internet broke out with the news of Diezani, former Minister of Petroleum, obtaining judgment against Chude and some other producers of Is It Your Money? Is It Your Money? So that's the Docu series that Chude did about all of the fraudulent activities that our former Minister of Petroleum was involved in. But that's not the real juice. And the real juice is the fact that when this judgment was said to be obtained and when it came out on the internet, what came to my mind was, wait, if this judgment is actually true, why on earth is Trudy being sued in the first place? My legal thinking cap just came up on fire immediately. I need you to know this about defamatory suits. There's a defense that can never ever be taken away from you, which is the defense of truth. If you can prove that all of these stories about this person is true, even though it seems like, oh, this story is really injuring their character, but it's the truth. I mean, this is a case that had long been forgotten in Nigeria, but it actually did happen. Most of what Chude has uncovered in his docu-series actually did happen. So what came to my mind is, this is actually not a case for defamation. How is it defamation? I've spoken about this in a number of times. So whenever you think someone is slamming you with a defamatory lawsuit, first thing you should think of is it actually true? Is it my truth? Is it their truth? Now back to Chude Gideon. He recently released this official statement on his Instagram page, which states that they are just being aware of these defamatory suits, and in the event that this is actually true, which they've not even verified. And that brings me back to the fact that as a lawyer, we have judgment obtained. Any judgment obtained, right, in any matter at all is already a public judgment. So there's nothing like, oh, a judgment is being obtained and is being hidden somewhere that we cannot easily access. How is it that when this supposed judgment was entered into, no one has seen the actual judgment itself, aside, of course, the news flying around on social media? And that in itself is another issue. So one of the issues that Chude raised, or alongside his lawyers, because when looking at that caption, you can tell that yes, this man has done his homework and he has the backing of his lawyers, right? One of the things that was brought out is the fact that if this judgment was actually entered into in a high court sitting in Bayelsa, like they claim, right, it was already entered into unfairly. So the thing is, the principle of fair hearing states that you have to listen to both sides. So whenever there's any allegation whatsoever, you do not enter judgment in favor of one side without listening to the other side. So now Trudy and his lawyers are claiming that they were not served, no notice was or whatsoever was issued to them. So how is it that a judgment was entered against them and they are not even aware? You can't be charged to court, you can't be invited to court without even seeing a document stating that yes, there's a lawsuit against you. With that alone, any judgment entered in such a manner, first of all, you lack jurisdiction to enter such judgment, because you can't sit in a matter without fair hearing, without listening to both sides. That is already a no-no. That judgment, if it actually exists, is null and void. Another thing Chude Gideon mentioned in his caption, which you can see, or which I'll highlight in this video, is the fact that they did their homework. I like that part. You won't expect someone to invest so much in such a mighty project like this docu-series. So much money has been spent, and is, of course, is supposed to recoup all of his investment, and then you would think he would do that without first consulting a lawyer. I like the fact that he actually did consult lawyers and they did their due diligence, or they claim to have done their due diligence. So the lawyers, kudos to them if they did that, which I believe they did. At least we can see that from Chude's caption on this Instagram post. He consulted lawyers before starting. So this is a big lesson to any filmmaker or creative investor in creative business whatsoever. Before you put in your money, you need to do your due diligence, and you can't do it by yourself. Imagine if you do not have the backing of your lawyers to say, you know what, we have cleared all of these processes, it is good to go. You should check out my previous video on defamation when Netflix was slammed with a defamatory suit. That was an interview on Arise News sometime last year or 2 years ago, and you will get to learn much more about your defense to defamation and the things to know as a filmmaker if you ever need to release docu series like this, or if you ever need to release a biopic. Before you do that, you need consent of the person in some cases, whereas in cases like this, which is public knowledge already, you don't really need consent. This is public knowledge. You're just informing the public about what already exists. So that's a very, very strong defense for any defamatory lawsuit. For particular matters that concern you, you need to consult your own lawyer for specific guidance. Okay, so till I come your way some other time in some other video, wish Chude all the best with this docu series, and I think it's all up for members only, so you can subscribe to watch the docu series. I really find it actually interesting. I remain Omotayo Abiode, an entertainment and intellectual property lawyer in Lagos and Abuja, Nigeria. Bye.